Do you constantly find yourself trying to reason with people that just don't have common sense? There's millions of people out there. So, there are those that you can't actually have a reasonable conversation with because they can somehow twist your words, or they can totally confuse you and then tell you that you're the one who doesn't know how to communicate. There are others that can make you subtly or overtly demeaning comments, or they might even say cutting things to you and they disguise it as a joke. There are others that don't respect your boundaries and they seem to be enjoying stepping all over you after you placed your boundaries. And there's even more. The types that aren't willing to consider your point of view or listen to your side of things, or they can just stare at you, laugh at you, explode at you, when you're trying to explain how you feel. And they can even ignore you. And there are bullies out there too, let's not forget about these. And there are verbal or emotional abusers, right? And they can range from subtle or to overt. And there are manipulators out there. There are liars. There are shady people who can leave you feeling bad, sad, shaky, or even feeling sick in the pit of your stomach. And there are people out there that they're crazy makers. All right? So these are the type of people that provoke you into acting crazy or unbalanced. They make you feel that there's something wrong with you, when your behavior across the rest of your life is proof that you are not. And then there's the other people who are so excessively charming, who are too good to be true, but they have an ulterior motive. I'm sure you know what I mean by now. All of these unreasonable people. Now, here are some things that I've learned about how to handle these types of people and to minimize the damage to yourself, to your days, to your sanity, and to your life. So I would say always find ways to minimize the time that you spend with them. So you have to try to keep your interactions as short as possible with these people. So you need to minimize your exposure because pathology goes a long, long way. And you have to keep it logical. I can be a very verbal, heart-focused person. So I would always try to connect and reason with these types of people and pretty much anyone else from an emotional or empathetic perspective. But this type of heart-centered communication, it only works with reasonable people who actually care. Because unreasonable people usually don't care. And their response, or even the lack of it, will often have the effects of making you more upset. So you need to be keeping communications fact-based and using minimal details, right? Another thing is that a way to avoid being the target of demeaning comments, manipulation, or having your words twisted is to say as little as possible. So don't be giving out a lot of information and getting these people to talk about themselves. That is if you have to be around them or talk to them, because they are far safer, how should I say it? They are a far safer conversation subject than you are. And what I want to say, which is very, 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 very important, and I laugh at this, give up on that fairy dream that one day that person is going to be who you think they're going to be, right? There are times in our lives that we think that all of these people, we could see the potential of what they could be. Yet, at the end of the day, you're going to end up hurting yourself or disappointing yourself because people are who they show you to be, right? So please give up the hope and fully accept that these people, this is who they are, right? And that can bring you a great sense of relief. It really gives you a great sense of relief. And another thing, try to stay away from conversations that can get you into trouble. So before getting into an interaction with a person that you know is difficult, right? You have to review in your mind the topics that might invite an attack and be proactive about it in order to avoid, right? Say, for example, the in-laws, right? They might always have something to say. So say they might talk about something regarding your career, your relationships, or stuff like that. You can try and answer neutrally and try to find a way to change the subject immediately, right? Don't engage with people that it's not going to have a good outcome of where it is, that you're trying to talk about. Like, they won't get it. And stop trying to get people to see your point of view. Don't try to explain yourself or try to get these people to understand you and empathize with your perspective, because they won't. And what's going to happen is that you're going to be feeling much worse just for even trying. So try to create a distraction, right? So if you absolutely need to spend time with someone who generally upsets you, try to be around them in circumstances that offer some sort of distraction, okay? So focus on, like, I don't know, if there's a pet there, like, play with it, do something, if you can get them to do something that absorbs their attention, like if you can take their attention off, it's even better for you. So if there's like a pet there, or I don't know, going to the toilet, or I don't know, if you're drinking coffee, offer to bring sugar, I don't know, just the kind of distraction, right? So if you manage to master these types of skills and be able to manage the way you interact with certain difficult people while being civil and even friendly, right? You can even manage to be able to save a relationship. But maybe you wouldn't necessarily want to, but in some cases, say that is a family member or perhaps a boss or someone that you have to keep around. These types of tactics might prove to be lifesavers.